Have you ever wondered why we have four Gospels? Or have you wondered how one should read each Gospel given that they are four books that tell the same story? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all provide unique perspectives into Jesus' life, as recorded by different writers. When I was a kid, I often wondered why I had two eyes. It seemed redundant that I had two. It turns out that having two eyes gives me something super powerful. That's depth. By looking at the same thing from two different angles, I'm able to see more. While it was preferable for me to catch a ball with both eyes open, it was much easier to aim a bow and arrow with one eye. Using only one eye gave me precision, but using both gave me depth. It's the same way with the Gospels. It's easier to play frisbee and receive it and move around the field if one is using multiple perspectives. Each of the four Gospels is like an eye into history. They provide a slightly different angle and slightly different facts that can be put together to create a vision full of depth. And if one desires, he can cover one eye to get a more precise view of Jesus in a singular Gospel. The Gospel writers are like skilled archers, aiming their arrows at different parts of Jesus in order to evoke different applications to the early church. There are four angles shown and one Christ. Mark may view Jesus from the right, Luke from the left, Matthew from behind, and John from above. Each provides a slightly different angle and lets one see a slightly different part of Jesus. Each gospel has a different main point that it is trying to drive home for the readers, but all focus on the saving death of Jesus. Mark deals with faith and fear. A distinctive concern in Mark is faith, even in the midst of a storm. This book applies well to the persecuted early church. A key concern of the Gospel of Luke is the humble being exalted and the exalted being humbled. This is pertinent given that the audience of the Gospel of Luke was early Gentiles. The Gospel of John's distinctive concern is the pre-existent and preeminent Word that became flesh, who was Jesus. A big focus of John is Jesus' divinity. And to combine all four books of the Gospels into one story is to say less by saying more. Everything is said, but less is heard. Distinctive concerns get drowned out when all four Gospels are taken apart like Frankenstein and sewn back together. By creating harmonized Gospels, one loses out on the Gospel silences, which speak as much as their words. Take Mark, for instance. Mark has something called the Messianic secret, where Jesus' identity as Messiah is slowly revealed throughout the text. There is a gradual build to this revealing. When this is narratively put side by side with the Gospel of John, where it starts with Jesus' divinity and incarnation, there are problems in the storytelling, and one loses out on the secret that would propel one through the text. Another key contrast comes to light when it comes to the Gospel of Luke and the Gospel of John. Luke is concerned with eyewitness testimony accounts and conducting a historical review, whereas John is more focused on theology. Therefore, when Luke begins his gospel by saying that he will be giving an orderly account of things that happen, it would be in clear contrast to the Gospel of John that starts with, "In the beginning was the Word," where there were no eyewitnesses. Each story ought to be studied on its own, much like the archer who closes one eye for more precision. Some key takeaways include that the Gospels have distinct perspectives, and that harmonization overlooks literary context. One would lose out on the messianic secret that propels one through the story of the Gospel of Mark if read within the same text as John. Each gospel offers its own unique perspective on Jesus' life, and they should not be flattened into one book, because then one would lose what makes each gospel its own.